Good morning and welcome to the Native News Today. Gerald Wofford joined alongside Jason Salzman. As always, we thank you for joining us this morning on a rather cold December morning.
Yeah, it's been cold around here, and the ice is still out. A lot of area football games have been postponed and everything, and as a matter of fact, some of the games were pushed back, and all the other games have been played, but the 2A game was pushed back involving a great Indian athlete, Foster Locust. Look for great things out of that kid. He's a great story, overcome a lot of adversity in his life, and one of those Indian athletes that we can be proud of still in the 21st century. They're not just from back in the day, they're still out there.
Well, through the magic of television, I believe the game will be played later today.
Yes, sir, it will.
And
tonight, actually, at 7:30 at Putnam City High School in Oklahoma City.
And our reporter here, our active reporter, will be out on the sidelines covering the action for you. So we plan on having a news story about that game and about that Indian athlete next week.
Definitely, and it's easy when you have a kid like that to cover. He's so talented and such a humble kid, and really, it's a joy to watch him play and a joy to talk to him afterwards. So it's all great.
Well, talking about sports, today's show kind of goes upon that theme of sports theme. Recently, we had our 9th annual Red Fork Native American Film Festival, and it was a great success. We appreciate everyone that came out and was a part of it. One of the films that we showed was called In Whose Honor, which is about the Indian mascot issue. Charlene Teeters the documentary is about her and her fight against the University of Illinois and the Chief Illiniwek mascot there. So we'll talk with her. She was there at the film festival, and we'll get her insight into views of the ongoing battle against some of the Indian mascots that are out there.
Yeah, I know, and for a lot of skins throughout the country, that's been a thing that's been one of the hot topics with Native Americans here on the national realm, and even here in Oklahoma, it's touched us too, with Northeastern State University changing their name recently from the Redmen to the Riverhawks. I don't know how much you like Riverhawks, but it's nice to know that that's being addressed. I don't know if I get into it as much as ever, the common opinion out there, but anytime that anything can be remotely construed as insensitive or anything like that, you need to pay attention to it.
That's interesting you mentioned that with the NSU, and also Rogers State over in Claremore recently adopted a name. It wasn't so much mascot controversy, but their name is now the Hillcats. So it's like a lot of these teams are finding these geographical animal links, I guess you could say, and so right. Maybe that'll work for them. Maybe it won't. We'll see.
And staying on the sports theme, we were out at Native American Indian Night actually at Tulsa 66ers, hosted this past Saturday, and we'll have some things from that too, and also a little bit of drama on the show for the first time ever.
That's right. We're going to have the Christmas play, and we'll let Jason introduce that and everything. Kind of a treat for you here from the Native American actors and everything. But before we do that too, another athlete that we spotlighted was Jenna Plumley, University of Oklahoma freshman, phenom, if you will. They played the University of Tulsa last Saturday, and we was able to get an interview with her after the game. So she's going to tell us all the things that have been going on there, and young all-star from Frontier High School all of a sudden makes the big Division 1A to the University of Oklahoma. So we'll have that interview too.
She does a great job, and we're all proud of her in Indian Country, and all that's coming up and a lot more, plus our weekly calendar of events to keep you up on what's going on out in Indian Country. We'll get to all that after this break. You're watching Native News Today.
Here at the College of the Muskogee Nation, we pride ourselves on emphasizing Native culture, values, language, and self-determination while providing a positive learning environment for tribal and non-tribal students. We encourage our students to be lifelong learners and to strive for personal growth, professional advancement, and intellectual advancement. Muskogee Nation College. Academic achievement, Native values.
Today's world is far different than the one our ancestors knew. But though times have changed, we the Muskogee Creek people remain a strong people. Many of our traditions continue to thrive in today's modern world. For 1,000 years and more we have been here, and we will be here for 1,000 more. Times have changed, but so have we, and the Muskogee Creek people are a part of this time, this country, and this economy. Well, early November, the 9th Annual Red Fork Native American Film Festival was held on the West Campus of Tulsa Community College. One of the films that was shown was entitled In Whose Honor. Now, this deals with the Indian mascot issue in college sports as well as professional. Charlene Teeters, who was a University of Illinois alum, fought in legal battles in court with Board of Trustees and others linked with the University of Illinois over their controversial mascot, Chief Alunavik, who performs at the basketball games as well as the football games. But we were able to talk with her. She was in town that day to be honored with a award from Tulsa Indian Coalition Against Racism, as well as introduce the film In Whose Honor. So this is Charlene Teeters. Gerald Wofford here at the 9th Annual Red Fork Native American Film Festival. And one key of this film festival is we like to spotlight Native American filmmakers and those who the films are about. And I'm standing here with a very special individual who has led the fight amongst Native American mascots that are out there, and basically the public disimage that they give out to Native American society and to tribes and to individuals in general. I'm talking about Miss Charlene Teeters here, who is being honored here in the city of Tulsa this weekend, not only here at the Red Fork Film Festival, but with the Tulsa Indian Coalition Against Racism. Charlene, we really appreciate your time this afternoon.
Thank you. Thank you for the invitation to be here.
The film I'm talking about is entitled In Whose Honor, and the University of Illinois, their mascot is Chief Alunavik, and you're an alum of that school.
I am.
And tell us a little bit of what the what the protests and everything was all about, please.
Well, let me just say, and on one hand, when I went to the University of Illinois, it wasn't to start trouble. You know, I went there to get an education, and I certainly got an education, but not what I was thinking I was going there for. I was first generation to get an advanced degree, and so when I was recruited to the University of Illinois, I didn't ask, what's your mascot? I mean, who would think you would need to ask that question? Because universities should be welcoming to all people. And so what I found myself in, once I got there, made the trip across the country, and it was a dream come true for me. And I got there and found a community that had Indian images on everything. There was, Home of the Drinking Illini, a bar. There was a sorority that would sponsor a Miss Illini Squaw contest. So, what happens when the university has that kind of identity, which, if you look at it, it looks pretty innocuous and not too offensive, but the problem is you can't control what the community does with it.
Charlene, you represent a patriot to a lot of people because of your fight to the respect that Native Americans deserve, that we're not just mascots and everything. I want to ask you this one question before we end the interview, and it's just a real basic question, and it's a lot of times what Indians even ask, as well as more the majority non-natives ask. What's the problem? I don't see any problem with this. Aren't we being too sensitive? Before long, we'll be, outlawing animals' names and things like that. You always hear that thing and stuff, and it's like, you hear that, and what kind of answer does that draw from you when you hear responses like that from natives and non-natives?
And that tells you how powerful images is. I'm an artist, so I understand the power of names, the names that we call ourselves, that colors, the power of symbols. But if we wanted to reduce it to something very simple, these symbols dehumanize us. People don't see us as full-fledged human beings. And if you dehumanize a people, then we are vulnerable to acts of racism. And if you dehumanize a people, and it's done so publicly and in an educational institution like this, then they graduate people who go on to be governors and senators and Congress and possibly president, and they will make policy that impacts Native people no matter where we live in this country based on their misperceptions of who they think we are. When you dehumanize a people, and it's done so publicly, it does impact how we're treated. Our tribal governments are not respected by this government. by federal and state governments. We see if we're dehumanized and we're not seen as full-fledged human beings, then our grave sites are not respected because they don't see us as human. They don't see us as contemporary people. So there is a connection between dehumanization and all of the struggles that we currently find ourselves in.
So the fight still continues, doesn't it?
It continues because we continue to have to raise awareness and educate even our own communities about these things.
Well, Charlene Teeters, we really appreciate your time, and thank you for everything that you've done for Native Americans.
Thank you.
All right, before we switch gears, I just want to read something that the former president of the American Psychologists Association, Ronald Levant, said about the mascot issue. These mascots are teaching stereotypical, misleading, and too often insulting images of American Indians. Now, this is not only negative lessons being taught to American Indian students, but to all students as a whole. So it's sending the wrong message, he says, and that's something to take into account. High-profile position, looking at it, you got to take a look at it. But not everything in the sports world is bad.
That's right. A special night honoring Native Americans was held in Tulsa, Oklahoma recently.
Yeah, American Indian Night, December 2nd, this past Saturday. The Tulsa 66ers and the president there, Joe Barry, does a great job to reach out to the American Indian community. He realizes he's in Tulsa, Oklahoma, and with 39 Indian tribes, you kind of have to play to that dynamic. And we saw that in everything this year, you know, whether it be the elections or political issues, things like that. Now you're seeing it affect sports teams too, and with the Pro Basketball League represented in Tulsa, it's a big deal to have American Indian Night, and they plan on doing it every year, Gerald. It's really nice.
It really was a special evening, as you're seeing the images there of the special Native American Night. And the Tulsa team is affiliated with what NBA teams?
It's Milwaukee Bucks, the New York Knicks, and our very own New Orleans, Oklahoma City Hornets. So a little bit of hometown appeal with them, and some other big clubs too, so it's a big deal.
That's right. Great time had by all there. And we'll certainly keep you aware of any other future events or sporting activities that the team may have.
Absolutely. Whenever they recognize American Indians, we'll be there to cover it. And not just things going on in pro basketball in the state, though. We got some great collegiate athletes.
That's right. Jenna Plumley, freshman at the University of Oklahoma out of Frontier High School, two-time All-State champion there, is part of the roster and a very important part of the team. Recently, they played at the University of Tulsa, and we caught up with Jenna and asked her how this overwhelming phenomenon of being a freshman and being a visible part of the OU women's basketball team has had on her. All right, we are here at the Bertha Teague Tournament Basketball Classic in Tulsa, Oklahoma, just witnessing another impressive performance by the Lady Sooners, and I'm here with freshman phenom Jenna Plumley. Jenna, appreciate your time this afternoon. Tell us about your performance in this game. Well, how would you grade your performance?
Well, it's been a while since I've really got out on the floor, and today I think we just all came out and we played really well. Everything was great, and upon myself, I just came in and did what I was supposed to do. So, you know, I'd give myself a high score, but I really wouldn't say what it is.
Your first year at OU here, that's almost got to be overwhelming in a way. I mean, how have you adapted to that?
Yeah, it's very overwhelming. The campus is wonderful. The teachers are great. Our coaches are unbelievable, and everything is just wonderful. You know, even though it's kind of hard adapting to, we still come out every day and we practice hard. School, is kind of hard because we're in and out of school, with away games and stuff. But adapting to it has been really easy because it's just like I have another family and they're there to take care of me.
And a freshman girl out of Frontier, your first year, you go to Hawaii. How was that trip?
Oh, it was great. Lots of fun. We spent a lot of time on the beach, but even though we were there to have fun, we were also there to have fun on the court, and we came out and we played we didn't play to our ability, but we won the games, and, it was just a great trip.
You obviously want the best for the Lady Sooners team this year, but what's some personal goals that you want to see accomplished this year for yourself?
For myself, I just want to be a very good defensive player, and when I go in, I want to be able to make plays. Coach puts me in for certain reasons, and whenever I go in, I want to be able to prove to her that I can do what she asks. So that's pretty much my goals.
All right, Jenna Plumley, best of luck. God bless you.
Thank you.
All right, before we take this break, I just want to go ahead and let everyone out there know of all the Indian happenings and things going on in Indian country this week with our Native News Today weekly calendar. So we'll roll the calendar, pay some bills, and then we'll be back with some interesting things. First time ever on Native News Today, a little drama in the studio, but be right back.
Smali, tässä on Susinili liiankin näistun senga.
Pangana se ei päähän jatkaus.
Kada magas.
Pangana se jatki tuon noore.
Fanny molu jo subananga.
Du saatit.
Itse hani subani tuon.
What? Hiji mokhetseri chin hisakta da stumidanga.
Mä hitsi mokka se di wekkiä diga. Hisagirera hiiliga. On paane hän jatki tuon.
The Muskogee Creek Nation Tobacco Prevention Program offers all cessation classes to young and old. For more information about a healthier life and a second wind, contact one of these centers nearest you.
Hijida. Hilishwo fatsa. CNA the dos. Moes.
Well, hitsi mokkeskera mokkeen saknoat. Stinokkesis. Stilizi duis.
Welcome back to the Native News Today. Gerald Wofford with Jason Salzman. And Jason, we've got our watchers a special treat for Christmas.
Will Hill, Janine Washington, Mahin Widows Productions, in association with the American Indian Theater Company, have a big play coming up in Tulsa the 15th, 16th, 17th, and 21st, 22nd, 23rd of December, A Song of Winter. And they stopped by the studios to give us a little sneak peek at it for our viewers.
Hische, to Jagathlako Nita, a Fachkidan. I just said Merry Christmas to you in my language, the Muskogean language. I'm not sure if that's right or not because I'm still learning it, but it's true. It's Christmas time, and I've been out shopping all day. I just thought I'd take a little break, take a load off. And while I'm here, how would you like to hear a good holiday story? It's got ghosts. Oh, now don't get scared. They're not the kind of ghosts you normally think of, and they're very important to the telling of the story. My name is Roberta Coachman, and that guy there, that's my uncle Eb Screechow. A long time ago, he used to be one of the meanest, most rotten, horrible, stingy old skinflints you ever knew. Not anymore, though. Something happened a long time ago to change all that, but I'll get into that in a minute. My uncle Eb Screechow was a financial wizard. He and his family owned Indian land right on top of the Great Cushing oil field, and a gusher practically made them rich overnight. Now, as a boy, he attended Indian boarding school at Chilocco, and then went on to get a business degree at one of the oldest institutions here in IT, that's Indian Territory, at the Bacone College just outside of Muskogee. And there he met his business partner, and they became financial wizards. They opened one of the very first Indian smoke shops and check cashing companies. They sold everything from soda pop to quick loans with high interest. Too high if you ask me. Anyway, they were pretty good at business. They were two of the craftiest schemers around. So if you shook hands with them, you better count all your fingers on the way back. And they could lie. Woo, they could lie. One would lie and the other would lie, and they'd even compliment each other's lies. And it had been 7 years ago, I think. 7 years ago to the day that his friend and business partner, Leopold Watts, had passed away, and on Christmas Day to boot. You know, I don't recall my Uncle Eb ever speaking a word about the passing of Leopold, except to say, he was a good businessman. At this time of the year, everybody gets into the holiday spirit. Everybody's into the spirit of giving and sharing. But a long time ago, my old Uncle Eb wasn't that way at all. He thought this whole season was ridiculous, and he made no bones about letting everybody know how he felt about it, including those who came to call on him to help, feed the poor and needy. Well, that was okay, because things were about to change for him. At this time of the year, I would always pop right into his shop and say, Merry Christmas, Uncle!
Hey, you almost gave you a heart attack. What were you trying to do? Get your inheritance quicker? That's what you were trying to do, weren't you? Well, I've got a good mind to call my attorney and have you written out of my will, young niece.
Uncle, relax. Goodness, I just came by to wish you a Merry Christmas, that's all.
Well, that sort of prank should have been left for Halloween. Can't you see I'm busy? I'm trying to get ready for year-end inventory. Taxes, you know. We may be on federal land, but that does not negate our responsibilities to the OTC. All that compact business. That's all it is to me, a big hey la.
Oh, Uncle, relax. All the businesses around here have been closed for hours. Everybody's gone home to be with their families. And like every year, I've come to wish you a Merry Christmas and invite you to dine with me and my husband, Grover. Remember him? And my twins, Willie and Hannah. They'd love to see you. They'd love to get to know you.
I'll reiterate what I said earlier. Can't you see that I'm busy? I'm a captain of industry.
Busy? Captain of industry? Ha! The way you treat your one employee, poor Bobcat Hatchet, I'd think you were Captain Bligh.
I thought you came to wish me a Merry Christmas. Instead, you stand here and insult me. And what right do you have to go around wishing others a big Merry Christmas? You're so poor.
What right do you have to be so sour like Sour Softy? You're so rich.
Why did you marry against my wishes? Just for that, I'm going to put upon you my most deadly curse.
I married because I fell in love. That's right. It happens. People fall in love, they get married, they have families, and life goes on.
What's love got to do with it?
Oh, who are you, Tina Turner? The love that binds our marriage and makes my children happy is the same love that I feel for you, especially at this time of the year. You know, everybody's happier at this time of the year. Everybody here in Indian country just has a song of winter in their heart. And you know, it's not just a Christmas thing, Uncle. It's always been the traditional way of our people to look after one another, take care of and love our elders. You're the only elder I have, and I love you. So I'll always say it. God bless you, Uncle.
You're quite a powerful speaker, young niece. It's no wonder you didn't run for national council.
Oh, look who's talking. You ran for national council and it didn't make you any happier. You just sat there like a big stone blockhead with that grimacing frown on your face. Uh-huh. And anything that would have come through to help the people, you'd repeat the same old mantra. It's not traditional. So, hela on you, Uncle.
And as for you, young niece, I will keep the traditions and the holidays in my own way.
But you don't keep them at all. I swear you get more cantankerous every year. You're so antisocial. You know what? You're what Dr. Phil calls a nut. Stupefied.
Are you finished?
Anyhow, the invitation still stands. Dinner is at 1 o'clock sharp. I love you, Uncle. Bawa ano gichka.
Vegas! Go on.
And that's just how he was. Gripey and mean, full of vim and vinegar. So that night, he turned off the lights, locked the door, shut down the store, and started walking home. That's right. There he was walking down the street in his gripey old mood, just gripey and mean as ever. Now, Unks was pretty cheap. He wouldn't buy a car. And the only time he ever rode in a car was when someone offered him a ride. However, no one liked him, so he was always walking. Rain, sleet, snow, heat, the dead of night. He was more dependable than the U.S. Postal Service. So as he started down the road towards his house, he decided He was going to take a shortcut through the park. Oh, the cold north wind began to pick up and blow. And it began to assail him. He clenched his greedy fists and gritted his teeth. And as he took that shortcut through the park, all the lamplights were out. It was completely dark. No one was in sight. And it happened. I warned you now. The ghost story begins, and this must be distinctly understood, or nothing good can come from this story. So there he was walking, when all of a sudden, he heard a ghost-like whine in the tops of the trees, and it said, "Screech owl, screech owl, screech owl."
What was that? Someone called my name? Who's there?
Now this was really unusual, because, you see, my father used to tell me that nothing could scare old Uncle Eb Screech Owl. There was nothing scarier than old Uncle Eb Screech Owl. But fear started to get a hold of him. That's right. And he thought he heard footsteps coming up behind him. And if you want to see what happens to old Eb Screech Owl, come and see The Song of Winter at the Tulsa Performing Arts Center, Liddy Dunges Theater, December 15th, 16th, and 17th, 21st, 22nd, and 23rd.
All right, our thanks to Janine Washington and Will Hill for a little excerpt from their Christmas play that's coming up. And Jason, what are those dates again?
That's going to be coming up December 15th, 16th, and 17th, and the 21st and 22nd. Those productions will be at 8 p.m., and then on the 23rd, a special matinee at 2 p.m., all taking place Liddy Dunges Theater at the Tulsa PAC.
Hey, and you're watching the show and you're seeing this Christmas play and you're saying, well, hey, my church has got a Christmas play. Our community, we're going to have this going on. How come we can't get that on the show? Well, you know what they did is they contacted us, told us about their event, and they came on the show.
That's right.
So if you got something going on, you want to contact us, how do they do that?
You can reach us by telephone at 918-732-7637, or you can reach us by fax at 918-758-0824, or as always, you can reach us on our emails. Mine is jsalzman@muskogeanation-nsn.gov, gwofford@muskogeanation-nsn.gov. That's all the contact information. If they don't get a hold of us, I don't want to hear any whining, griping, complaining,
right.
or anything like that.
Don't be bragging about your niece and nephew playing those good games and then you don't tell us all about it. We want to report on them, give a good story out there. Well, hey, we're going to say so long here, and as always, Jason Salzman, our producer Josh Lane, also a fellow co-worker Jared Moore, and our director Lucas Taylor. We thank you for joining us here on the Native News today. In the meantime, take care. God bless. We'll see you soon.